Is there something holding you back? And the fear of taking the next step, or maybe failure, is keeping you from the next step. If this sounds like you, maybe we should dive deeper into, is it fear or is it success that you might be afraid of? Either way, if you feel stuck at this moment today, we're going to have a great discussion because sometimes it's where we get outside of our comfort zone. We go through things that we never thought we'd go through that are defining moments in our lives. So today, we're going to talk about how do we get outside of our comfort zone? And not only that, what are some of the steps and tips in getting outside of our comfort zone that will lead us to freedom?
And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
Hi, my name is Lillian McDermott, and I am a certified life coach, a certified holistic cancer coach, and the host of the Lillian McDermott radio show. If this is the first time you're tuning in, then please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. My dad lived the life of his dreams. Talk about getting outside your comfort zone to watch your father be sick, or not sick, I mean, slowly decline to the point where he can no longer talk. 6 days without food and water. His heart pumped and his lungs breathed because that's how strong he was. But if I look at his life, would I say that his life was a life that was lived with no regrets? No, neither is my life. I would say that my biggest fears that have held me back have kept me from my life. It is when I step out of the comfort zone, like with my father. My dad was a champion about stepping outside of the comfort zone. I saw my dad do things that he probably never thought he could do. He was Mr. Fix-It. He was talented. He could tell a story. Sometimes it took him a little bit longer. We kept interrupting my dad. My dad created kind of a lighthearted family, and at the same time was very intense, and things could get a little crazy really quickly. My dad was my number one teacher. But today, I want to tell you that something has changed with me, not just the loss of my father, because I've not really lost him. I know he is here and he is with us. Life has changed for me because I noticed a sense of calm and peace when what I thought would be my greatest like breakdown moment was my wow, he's with God. Can anything top that? And the fact that I got to have him as my dad for 61 years, and he taught me how to be and how not to be. He taught me how to love and how not to love. And he taught me that fear can keep us bound. My dad traveled the world with the military. Was an incredible, um, he was just an incredible entertainer. If, when Daddy would walk into a room, the room was filled. He wasn't very tall. He was 5'8", 5'9". I kept getting shorter, but 5'9". But he was a giant in many ways. So today, I don't plan really to talk to you about my father. as much as to talk to you about stepping outside your comfort zone. First of all, my dad, I believe the reason why he was alive for 6 days, seriously, is because he was negotiating with Jesus. He was saying, if you let me give Asia to hold my hand, that gift of holding my hand when I take the final breath, and Lily, say goodbye to her before I pass, I will go with you. Or please explain to me, I need to know, what is all this all about? I can honestly tell you that one of my father's greatest qualities was that he always persevered. 71 years married, and I'm sure there were lots of ups and downs and times I wish they wouldn't have been married, but 71 years nonetheless. And that takes integrity, persistence. It takes a lot of gumption to fight for and live for whatever it is you want. Did he start his life thinking that he would be married 71 years? I don't know. Do you? Do you walk into life thinking everything's going to be perfect or that there's going to be longevity? No. But at 93, almost 94, he would have been 94, December 20th. He lived a life that had dignity, persistent, creative, funny, taught me my love of music and dance. So today's show is not about my dad, but about what he created. He created a desire in me to do just about anything I wanted to. But here's the thing, my dad sometimes was fearful that we would get hurt or fearful that we would fail or fearful of whatever. And those fearfuls, whatever fearful you are for, will keep us from our greatness. But he'd always say, I may not agree, but it's your life. Like when I wanted to pierce my belly button at 38, I still sought his approval. That is a great man. One that instills in their child that you're still your father, no matter what age they are. That has escaped this generation. I cannot do that with my children, not even if I tried. Sometimes I talk to my sister and say, what is it? We loved being with our family. We loved being with our parents. We loved hanging out with each other. But because of the world and how it is today, it doesn't seem that that seems to be a priority. So what do we want? Recently, what I wanted was to be with my dad before he received his last rites. But instead, because I was feeling like a sore throat and had a fever, I decided to test for COVID. I'm telling you, I've never tested for COVID, honestly, but I did it out of respect for my family, because I know that if they would have gotten sick, they would have blamed me for the rest of my life, and I don't want to deal with that. But the reality is, I wanted to be by my father's side. But sometimes you have to go with your gut and your intuition. And my intuition said, stay home. But he waited for me. He waited for me. So state your desire, no matter what it is. State your desire and be okay with the outcome. I was okay with the outcome. You do the responsible thing and you're okay with the outcome. And whatever happens, you deal with it. You deal with it. It is that kind of stepping outside your comfort zone, doing things that you don't want to do or maybe don't like to do. You guys know how I feel about all this testing, and you guys know how I feel about the whole situation of this cold, flu, whatever that has a new name, it has a new identity, and fear keeps us from actually touching each other anymore, being with one another, valuing family time. So again, I keep saying this isn't about my dad. It is about stepping outside my comfort zone. I don't cry pretty, and I don't like being this kind of vulnerable, but I'm doing it because I want you to know that even when things get to the point where you go, why is this happening? You need to step back and say, why not? What is it about this moment that I can grow from, that I can learn? And when we step outside our comfort zone and we have that kind of curiosity, that is where life begins. Being fearful of failure will always keep us from success. And if you don't look back at what you're really truly afraid of, is it that you'll fail or is it that you'll be successful? And how will you keep this whole thing up? That may happen too. So sit with what it is that you want. Sit with the feeling of, once I reach this goal, how do I go beyond it? Knowing that God will give you whatever it is that you need. And I will give you an example. I said to my sister, I said, I really want to have a program for Daddy's funeral. And my sister looked at me and she said, not going to do it. And I said, but I really want one. And she says, well, you do it. I've never done a program, but you know what? I sat there the Friday past after he passed, ascended, after he ascended, joyfully ascended. And by the end of the day, I had the most beautiful program. I'd like to share it with you, but it's not printed yet by the time I'm recording this. But I will show it. I will share it maybe on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, because that is something that I thought I couldn't do. I even kind of begged people, hey, why don't you give me a tutorial? Hey, can you, I kind of do this and I really don't know how to do it. Nobody ever volunteered. Nobody said, oh, let me help you, Lily. Some people say, oh, let me help you. But when they found out, oh, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, I didn't know how to do it either. But when you are truly focused on what you want, it is amazing of the things that you get. So that is just one example. I did not set out to create to say, okay, this is what I want to do, but I wanted to honor my dad. I wanted people that are at this service honoring my dad to know, who's this person? Who's the child? Who's the grandchild? Who's the great grandchild? I wanted people to know, what are the readings that we're saying? It meant something to me. And the paper had to be the satiny, silky paper that I had felt with my friend Pete's father's when he passed his funeral. The paper they use, I just kept touching this paper. I kept saying, this is the paper I want. Well, guess what? I found it. It's that persistence that my dad taught me, that I used for my benefit when creating that program. Then creating a picture board with my friend Maro. Neither one of us knew what to expect, but we all, like when we were working together, whether her idea or my idea, or turning it sideways, or putting it this way, or putting it that way, when we trust the process, the creativity that flows out of us is beyond our capabilities. So if we were to stop and say, well, I can't do it, then there's going to be no program at that service or no honoring picture frame. I don't know where this desire to create this picture frame came from, but it was there. I don't know why. Why? Sometimes I have these needs and wants, and it's that desire that helps me overcome that fear of failure. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that God knows what's going to happen, and that is good enough. And sometimes when I want to make something even better, I've got to stop myself because in trying to make something better, sometimes we can make it worse. So be very, very clear with what your goals are, and be very clear of what you're willing to do to get it. Just like the great philosopher Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. That's the thing that people say. Oh, I'd do anything to save my marriage. I'd do anything to get a promotion. I would do anything to lose weight. I would do anything to reconnect with this person. But then we say silently in our head, but I won't do that. So today we talk about, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to achieve what you want? So be very clear. And then when you're clear, have measure steps that you need to take. Like, I really didn't know what was going to happen. So I was at my sister's house from Monday to Thursday. And then I said to my sister, by Sunday, I'll have everything done. I'll have the video, I will have the program, not knowing that by Sunday we had the beginning and very much almost the end. We just need to tweak and get finalized so these things. So be careful with what you say, because what you speak becomes reality. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible that what comes to you, what comes out of you is what's in you. So if negative thoughts, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do that, which if I want to be realistic, up to that point, I never knew. I've never done Canva before. And I even did a 4-page program. We're taking one page, folding it in half, printing it. We're going to do all that. Wow. Clear. So the vision was that I was going to get it done, but what did I have to do in order to do it? Those are the baby steps that you take when you are clear, or when you have a goal and you want to get outside the comfort zone. That is the first step that you do, is make those measurable goals that lead to that bigger goal. So take steps, those baby steps that will allow you to achieve. Obviously, the begging didn't help because most people didn't know how to do it. So if it's meant to be, it's up to me. So that is the mentality, that is the that I saw in my dad growing up. You know, I saw my dad create things, make shelves for me, build a house for us, you know, and he was a builder, was in the military for 20 years, you know, all these things that, gosh, you know, what a great teacher. He taught me without really teaching me. He taught me from his behavior and actions and all those things, how to be, not to be. I've already said that before. So when you want to step outside your comfort zone, you need to know your why. Why am I doing this? Is it to impress somebody else? Is it to boost my ego? Is it to achieve something higher? What is your why? It doesn't matter what your why is. What is it, the why that you would do, and that afterwards you would say, I would do anything and I will do that. I will take these little steps. Because here's what happens when you step outside your comfort zone. You discover things you didn't know you didn't know. How did you know you didn't know it unless you're curious to dive deep into it? So that is exactly what happened with me when I kept hearing one person after another person after another person after another person talk about neurofeedback. I had ADHD and no longer have it. I had this fear and anxiety, no longer have it. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't get my act together. Now I'm, you know, a successful business person. These are things that I heard from other people. But until the student is ready, the teacher won't appear. They will appear when you are ready. And so in comes Dr. John Silva, and I start learning about neurofeedback from someone that is the teacher, not someone who just experienced it, which there were other teachers along the way that planted the seed. And then I came across Dr. John Silva once again. The first time was in 2017, and this time again. And what he had to say was very curious to me. And I started back in March, I started doing neurofeedback. What is neurofeedback? It is the rewiring of the brain. It is being able to do things. And I had this, I don't know, this curiosity, um, but deep down inside, as when I was growing up, I had this unspoken, like, I'm not good enough in me. It wasn't until I dove into it and really looked at it that I realized where it came from, and I've shared this with you in the past and how it happened. And so when you dive into, sometimes you have these little blocks. What is keeping me from doing what I want to do? Why do I keep telling people I'm going to the gym on Monday, but Monday never comes? I'm going to call that loved one, but that call never happens. I'm going to visit with you, my dear friend, but I'm too busy and it never happens. And then you get a phone call that says, oh, they're not longer with you. And then you should all over yourself. I should have called. I should have done this. I should have done that. But life outside our comfort zone does not have the word should. It only has the word can. And when you have that word can, again, it's amazing what you can do. So take those small steps. Mine was to learn about neurofeedback with Dr. John Silva. Then it was, oh, can you do the brain mapping thing? I just want to see where my cognitive skills are right now. Then I said, well, can we work together? You come on the show and explain this and us learn together. And then I started doing neurofeedback March of 2024. At first, I thought, no, not a big change, not a big change, until I threw the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. By then, I was begging him, please come to the summit. I would love for you to have a booth. I would love for you to have a booth. And he couldn't because he was on his way to get he had purchased something in North Carolina and he was on his way there for that. So he couldn't be a part of it. But moving forward, he will be. So here I am, all of a sudden, I feel this sense of calm. I feel this organization that I hadn't felt in a while. I had felt a little distracted, a little kind of like, I'm getting older, I need to slow down type of thing. BS. That is so BS. Even though I am getting older, yes, I know what you're thinking. Yes, you're going to get older. Yes. But do I have to suffer the symptoms of getting older? So then I started noticing other things like this when I was entertaining at the house and people were coming over. I didn't feel anxious about I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done. No, I felt okay. Things will get done when they get done. Just like now, I know that there's another thing that I need to work on, which is the whoopee cushion. Oh yes, my giveaway at my dad's reception is going to be whoopee cushions because he used to love to hide them underneath pillows in the furniture, and he used to get us all the time, and we would laugh and laugh and laugh. Then new meat came to town, his grandchildren, pull my finger, here, drop his keys, and he would do that little bit like gotcha type of thing. And and so that kind of those are things that I need to do and prepare for when it comes to the event on Friday the 13th. It's a new Friday the 13th. We're going to make it very special and very honoring of my dad. So acknowledging your fears, not just only setting the goals, being specific, having measurable and achievable actions that you can take, and then taking those small steps, then acknowledge your fears. Is it that you're not going to be able to do it? You're afraid of failure? Or are you afraid that people are going to expect more out of you? That's a fear. That's a fear. Or that you're going to be so successful that you're going to hold yourself accountable for the rest of your life. What could it be? But it takes for you to sit, maybe with a coach. I had to sit with myself. I've had to sit with other coaches too. But when it comes to this week and everything that's happening this week, I've had to, or I get to, be creative. Be creative without fear of failure. It's going to be beautiful. I kept telling Maro about the picture frame project, that why did I want to create that? And when we finished and looked at the project, we were like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And I once in a while I'd say, okay, Poppy, you need to help me. Okay, Daddy, you need to help me. And then all of a sudden it would all fit in. It all would work out. So don't be afraid to pray to God, to you know, a saint or a friend to give you wisdom, to kind of like help you, motivate you. Put yourself in that environment. So beware how easy it is to just say, I'm tired today. I didn't sleep well. I'm not going to go to the gym this morning. 2 years later, you're still not sleeping well and still not going to the gym. Your muscles are atrophying, all these things because of fear, because of lack of commitment to your commitment. So keep expanding that comfort zone. Like now, if I ever have to do another program, like when my, that I want this, but when my mom passes or ascends, I'll know what to do. Maybe not, because hopefully it'll be like 10 years from now. But because my mom is 90. So because I stepped outside my comfort zone, I said, well, let me see, what's this Canva about? Oh, let me just add this here. Oh, look. Oh my gosh, I got the first page done. Okay, let me look at some samples here. Oh, look, I can just do this. Okay, let me just do it. Let me just type it up. Just be curious about being curious and take that next step. And then that next step becomes your comfort zone. Then you get out of that next step and to the next step, and that becomes your comfort zone. And that, and so on, and so on, and so on. So reward yourselves. Reward yourselves for doing a great job, or for like saying, I'm so proud of me. I am so proud of me. But most importantly, I'm proud of the God in me that helped me get through this. God promised me that morning when I was journaling, don't worry about it. Trust the process. Just allow yourself to experience it, enjoy it, and trust the process. Okay. Okay, God, I hear and obey. That is the only time I say that. I hear and obey. Because I know that when God calls you to do something, it's going to be beautiful. Just trust the process and take that next step so that your comfort zone expands each time. Now, I can make a video. Well, thank God for Robert. Robert and I are a great, great team. During that time that I had COVID, I went through every picture on my phone, videos of my dad. I had a fever too, so I had to, did this in bed while I was laying down, and then and then I went through every single picture. Never in a million years thought I'd be interested in going through every single picture and a big bin going through it. Well, guess what? I got COVID, or I tested positive for it. Let me just put it that way. I tested positive for it. And so because of that, it stopped me from doing a bunch of stuff. Focus, Lily, focus. And I bet you neurofeedback helped me stay focused. That curiosity of neurofeedback has supported me through this time in many, many ways, to the point where I can talk to you right now and not be a pile of tears. I'm just so grateful to God. So you trust the process, trust God, and trust that you will be given whatever you need, whenever you need it. Read Romans 8. That is a promise from God. Surround yourself with confident people, people that are willing to help you, people that say, how can I support you? Like my friend Maro, like other friends that have texted me and loved me through this time of difficulty, but beauty at the same time, of sadness and joy at the same time, of uncertainty and of comfort at the same time. How could that be unless you trust the process and say, I've never done this before, but God has, and that's good enough for me. Or my husband did. And so we put our our talents together, and God brings a little team for you. And between Robert Morrow, myself, and other people as well, we created different things, but it's going to be beautiful. The outcome is not as important as the dedication by which it was created. And if it's received with criticism, then that's their issue. If people don't like it, that's their issue. But it made me smile. And I'm pretty sure it made my dad smile too. So reward yourself by telling yourself, yes, this is great. This is good. You were able to do this, but acknowledge who are those people that lift you up. That prayer of all the people that have been lifting me up during this time. The love of, friends, here, come for dinner, or come, let me feed your husband, or all these things that just make my desire to step outside of my comfort zone and learn and grow from this experience more palpable, more desirable. Then take nothing personal. I wish I would have done that a little bit more during this time, because you know how family can poke you in the eye when you're the most vulnerable. But still, don't take anything personal. Things don't work out a certain way. If things don't happen a certain way, it's just not about me. It's about getting through it. It's about doing whatever it is that I am been called to do. And maybe I'll share the video, or maybe I'll share the picture, or maybe I'll share the whoopee cushions and what we're going to end up writing or sticking on the back of it. So this is happening real time live by the time you see this. Yesterday, we recorded and we aired the class with Dr. Silva, where we announced that the neurofeedback course was the rewiring of the brain with neurofeedback training will change to October 1st. We're changing it to October 1st to allow me to go through the process of grieving, to allow me and allow you the opportunity to say, gosh, if neurofeedback can do that for her, what will it do for me? See, it starts with curiosity. Are you curious? Are you curious? If you attend this worldwide webinar on October 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, you will learn about the brain. You will learn about neurofeedback. That doesn't mean you have to do neurofeedback, but just learn about your brain. Just be curious about it, because the presentation that Dr. Silva is going to do is going to be so enlightening that then you'll know, oh, that's why I do this. And that's why maybe I ruminate. My signals are not firing correctly. My neurons, my synapses, whatever it is that, all that Dr. Silva says. And decide what you're willing to overcome. Some people say, I would love to do this, but I won't do that. I won't do that. Now, I'm not talking about something illegal, immoral, indecent. I am not. I am talking about stepping outside your comfort zone so that you can soar higher than you've ever soared. Yes, maybe you've achieved great things, but have you experienced the satisfaction of doing great things that you never thought you could? That's what I'm talking about. We all are great in our own way. So rewiring the brain with neurofeedback training has changed to October 1st. It is $49.95. I believe that's the price, because I think that the price went up from the early registration. It's on Zoom, so anyone can join us. Anywhere, all over, anywhere in the world. We have some people from different places around the world that are joining us, and I'm really excited to meet them on October 1st. Sorry we had to move it, but I think that you have to acknowledge that when there is a loss in somebody's life, there is time that you need to take for yourself, and I'm going to take that time. And I'm grateful that Dr. John Silva is willing to do that, and I'm grateful for all the people who registered, who are willing to move to October 1st. And if people cannot attend October 1st, you're still going to get the video. Let's say Eastern time is like, that's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I love you, but I don't love you that much. Or I'm curious, but no, not to sacrifice my sleep. Then you'll still get the video. You'll get the video and you can watch it at any time. You can write questions in advance. You know, we've had so many classes with Dr. John Silva. Go watch them, and maybe you'll have a question. Send me, if you purchase the I am this, not I'm the solution, the rewiring the brain with neurofeedback training. If you send me an email with all the questions, we will make sure that I ask these questions for you. And then when you get your video, you'll be able to feel that you can you've had your questions answered. And like I said, it's recorded. And two people will receive neurometric brain mapping, two free. So the people who register, two people will receive free neurometric brain mapping. And that will tell you by questions and answers where you have some decline in the brain, or maybe there is a place where you need to improve because maybe there's so much neurons misfiring. And so that's exciting about that. So I just wanted to go over these steps with you. And if you are curious about it, I want you to go to whenyounneedafriend.com. When you go to whenyounneedafriend.com, please make sure you subscribe to the website. Why? Because every week you get a blog from me. If you are a subscriber, a friend of the classroom, then you already knew that my dad had taken his final breath on September 3rd, 2024 at 10:10 a.m. And someday I'll tell you why 10:10 a.m. is so important to me. And that is part of my dad's negotiating with Jesus. And I will tell you that story when I can tell you the story without tearing up. And so I want to encourage you that if this is something that that you're interested in, the neurofeedback training, just go to the class. It's a webinar. It's a 2-hour webinar. You're going to learn about the brain. You're going to learn how the brain functions. Maybe some of the reasons why, what areas of the brains is misfiring. And no different. And I'll give you an analogy of the brain as an electrician. I used that yesterday and the time before, and I just in case you haven't seen the class. So while you're there, please subscribe also on my social media. Like and follow me on BitChute, Odyssey, Facebook, Instagram, X. Did I say YouTube, Facebook? Yes. So make sure that you do, and all the podcasts too. I'm on Google and Amazon, Apple, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify. Just put in Lillian McDermott radio show and you will get that there. So there's so many different places where you will get the classes just sent to you and you can watch them at your leisure. Always, always, always. They're safe for you, for your convenience and review. I want to encourage you to check out my sponsors. Support the sponsors the way they're supporting the classroom, and let them know how much you appreciate their free information that you're receiving by watching. So share share this video with people, because when friends that grow together stay together, families that grow together stay together. They lift each other up. They're like grabbing from the balcony and just pulling you up to the balcony, as opposed to being in the orchestra pit. Nothing against the orchestra pit. I love the orchestra in a play, but dragging you down to the orchestra pit. You want to make sure that you surround yourself with people. So share this information. Do emojis. When you do an emoji, a friendly emoji or whatever, make a comment, it causes the algorithms to not be able to garble this information. Because what if there's really a misfiring, a miswiring of your brain because of a childhood trauma, because you didn't feel good enough, like you didn't feel that you were enough, that you did not that you were unlovable, or that you were ugly or fat or too skinny, or again, not enough. How do we rewire that? How do we take those messages so that they turn into a liberating moment for your life where you can do things beyond your control? I can do all things through Christ, period. Anyway, you can go to my Shop Now bag, and those are Lily approved. And when you buy anything from there, some of these are affiliate, others are not affiliate products. I just want you to know these are my approved products. So you can go through the little Shop Now bag. And if you purchase anything, it helps to donate to the classroom. Right now, we need as many donations as you can provide. Just if you need to tithe, if you were looking for a place to help, please consider the classroom, because we're all learning together, education. And so hopefully that's worth something to you. So if you can donate, whether it's your time, your talent, your treasure, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom. Whatever you can give, $1, $1,000 a month, a one-time donation, whatever it is, like I said, your time, your talent, your treasure, all of it is appreciated. So today we're talking about how to step outside your comfort zone. So the first step, I'm going to go over some of this. The first step is set specific goals with measurable, achievable steps. Then, number 2, you take the step. You take the step. Number 3, oh, and each step, like every action, have 3 different steps that you take. And keep doing that, because it's that little baby step. When I was asked to climb a mountain, hike a mountain back, I don't know, in 2015, I'd never hiked. I've never spent the night in the woods without a toilet, any of that. I never did that. But I said yes. I don't know why I said yes, but I did it. I did it. And I remember looking up at the mountain going, how am I going to do this? And it was one step at a time. But when I said yes, I thought, ooh, how am I going to do this? Because you can't see yourself at the top of the mountain. The first thing I did was shop for some shoes. That was what I did. I bought some hiking boots. That was the first thing I did. And that was a step. It was measurable. It was achievable. And then I took those boots to the gym and I walked in the treadmill with those boots. And then I inclined the treadmill. And then I had a backpack that was like 30 pounds. So I worked my way so that when I looked at that mountain, I thought, I got this. I got this. I can do this. So that's very important. So take those small steps before you find yourself at the base of the mountain. Acknowledge your fears. Sit with those fears. Talk yourself out of these fears and tell yourself the truth, the new truth, and nothing but the new truth, which is you got this. You can do this. There is nothing that you will be put through that God won't allow you to get through with Him. So just trust that. Trust God's promises. Don't sit there looking at the fear. Look at what you're going to achieve. Like that, I keep going back to that program. When I hold that program in my hand and it's got that soft, silky feel to it, and it has my dad's beautiful face, I'm going to say, wow, thank you, God. I couldn't have done this without you. I couldn't have done this with the printing without Robert. I couldn't have done the encouragement without my daughter Ashley, who said, Mommy, for someone who doesn't know how to do this, you're really doing a great job. It's those things, those victories that acknowledge that yes, you're stepping outside your comfort zone and you can do this, and celebrate. I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud mostly of the God in me that allows me to be expansive, to fly and soar, because I'm not focused on my fears. I'm focused on my wants and desires. And out of the mouth, you speak it, and it becomes it. It comes from your heart. But what do you get when you squeeze an orange? You get orange juice. Why? Because it's what was in it. But what happens when you're squeezed? What comes out of you is encouragement, curiosity, excitement. Um, I don't know what comes out of you. Is it that, or bitterness and anger and questionable and mistrust when you get squeezed? Look at what's inside of you and what is really truly motivating you, and then take that step. It is amazing. And reward yourself. Give yourself a look what I did, without expecting everybody to go, ooh, good job, Lily. Good job. No, I did the good job, Lily, because I've never done anything like that. There are a lot of things I've never done. I mean, before I became a radio show host, I didn't have any desire. But the first time I went on radio and I was interviewed for 30 minutes by John Harper, which is to yesterday turned had a birthday on September 11th. And he gave me my opportunity. He walked into the room after he 30-minute interview and said, "Hey, wow, how long have you been doing radio?" 30 minutes. Wow. If I would have said, "I don't know how to be a radio show host. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that," I wouldn't be speaking to you here today. I wouldn't be a life coach today. I wouldn't be a certified holistic cancer coach today. I wouldn't be your friend here today. And you wouldn't be my friend here today. But I said yes. Let your yes be greater than your fears. Say yes and then know God will help you figure it out. I don't know how, but God does. You trust that. Trust the process. Okay, so I want to make sure I stay focused. So then, like I said, reward yourself. Yay, I did it. I did it. Good job, Lily. Okay, take nothing personal. You know, if somebody criticizes your work or someone says something unkind, really, out of the, what do you get when you squeeze an orange? It comes out of them too. It comes out of you too. So if you're taking it personally, then you need to sit with, why am I taking this personally? This is really not about me. It's about them. It's about seeing through the eyes of criticism or being mean-spirited or whatever it is. So don't take it personal. Stay focused. What is your goal? Declare it. Make it happen. Okay. The next one, I think I lost count of how many we have here. Let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Surround yourself with confident people, people who want to lift you up, who don't take any delight in your failures. They're the ones that say, you can do this. You can do it. Like Ashley said to me, hey, for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, you're doing a good job. Wow, that just, like, if I would have been a dog at that moment, my tail would have been wagging, wagging, wagging. So take that step, take that risk, and then decide what you want to overcome. I overcame not knowing Canva. I overcame not knowing how to do a show or being a radio show host. I've overcome my own personal growth. I didn't know life could get better. I didn't know I could get that I could feel better. I didn't feel bad. I just didn't know I could feel better. And you start discovering all these things just from love and curiosity. Love and curiosity and excitement and joy and peace. And when you start finding those things in you, when you get squeezed, because stepping out your comfort zone is kind of squeezy. It is a little bit squeezy. But if you trust the process and you know that no matter what I decide, what my heart, what God says I need to do, then I get to do it. And I do it with joy, love, excitement. Now, I must admit, at first, the thoughts go into the mind and going, Can you really do that, Lily? That's the my voice in my head. That's my Odie. That is my Odie. That is Herodias. Herodias was the one that asked for John the Baptist's head for her daughter. So short Odie. Not that I would ask for someone's head in a platter, but I think we all have that capability of saying, screw that person, I hate that person, I wish they died or whatever. Herodias. So my vicious inner critic, Vic, I call Odie for short. So is the voice in my head coming from Odie, or is the voice in my head coming from Lily? I remember when Lily was a little girl, I used to twirl around and life was good. I loved being in my butterfly world where I can just be who I wanted to be without being criticized or made fun of or told I was ugly or all those things that I wasn't good enough or unloved. Not by my parents, but my grandmother told me that. I think I shared that story yesterday. Yes, that my grandmother told me that if I stopped learning how to play the piano, she would stop loving me. Well, I stopped learning how to play the piano, so I made up that I was unlovable. So these are the things that you get to sit with and decide, what am I going to overcome? Which is the last thing. And you're taking steps and going outside your comfort zone. So I want to encourage you that if the classes with Dr. John Silva haven't motivated you already to be curious and join us on October 1st, that's the new date, October 1st, 2024, from 7 to 10 p.m. We're going to be zoomed in, so you'll be getting the Zoom link. All of you who purchase the webinar, and you will get a recording of it so you can watch it over and over and over. We ask that you don't share that if somebody else wants to, you can encourage them to purchase it and that they can watch it from their own computer and they can enjoy it as well. Two of the people who sign up will get a free neurometric brain mapping. I believe that is worth $195. But it will, if you don't win, you can take advantage of it for a very, very low price. I think it's like 95. And that's the testing that you do from wherever you're at, with questions and answers to get you to where it is that your starting point of where your brain, the neurofeedback is. So if this sounds interesting to you, I do hope that you will join us. Step outside your comfort zone. Figure out what you don't know you don't know. Maybe the ruminating and the sadness and the depression and the anxiety are a part of the rewiring of that needs to be happening. You know, one would never be upset to have to call. Yeah, maybe you don't want to call an electrician, but if you flip a switch and the light doesn't go on, the first thing you do, oh, let me change the light bulb. Okay, let me be curious. What's going on? You change the light bulb and the light switch off. Well, let me go to the breaker. And it becomes a curious thing. It's not like, oh, I'm going to fail at this, or I'm going to be people are going to make fun of me if I do that. No, we don't have that kind of anxiety. We just go and we do it, right? And then when we realize, okay, I checked the breaker, I changed the light bulb, I did all these things, the switch hasn't flipped on. So I need to call an electrician. That's where Dr. John Silva comes in. He's kind of the electrician of the brain, and he helps figure out what kind of rewiring. Have you received a diagnosis of depression, anxiety, ADD, start of dementia? And you're saying, okay, that's it. I got to take this pill for the rest of my life. What if it's not a mental disorder that you have? What if it's like a misfiring of your neurons? Instead of going from here to here, it's going from here to here, and it's creating a dissonance in your brain, a cognitive dissonance. What if? So be curious about these things. And I hope that you will join us on October 1st, the new date of Rewiring the Brain with Neurofeedback training with Dr. John Silva, October 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, it's going to be recorded. So if you can't make that time, don't worry, you'll get the recording right after, like within 24 hours or so after the event is completed, because we have to edit it and put things together. So that takes a little bit of time, but you'll still get it within a short period of time. So if you decide that you want to do this, I look forward to growing with you and learning a little bit more. And I promise you, I'll tell you the story about 1010 with my dad someday. It's very special. And I hope that you will remember that I wish you peace, love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.